My name is Anna Russo, and today we're going to talk about Pluto and the arguments for why it can be a planet and why it shouldn't be a planet. Okay, so let's get started. So first I want to talk about what is Pluto. Well, first it was the god of the underworld, a Greek god. Then it became the name of a planet, Pluto. And then Walt Disney actually created a Disney character after it named Pluto, and that's why Pluto became so popular between the general public and the media and everything, because it made it seem like the planet was closer to them because the Disney character was so cute. Okay, so first we're going to start with the Kuiper Belt. The Kuiper Belt is where Pluto is located. It's a bunch of icy objects that orbit the sun beyond Neptune. And it was what was left over from the formation of the solar system. They fly way past Neptune, and Pluto is located within it, so that people thought that it was just another icy object, but actually it is not. Okay, so the discovery of Pluto. Pluto was found by name of Clyde Tombaugh. He had a motorized telescope that he would set up every night, and it would take pictures of the sky, and then he would compare the pictures, and he noticed that there was a certain star-like figure that was actually moving at a rapid pace in each of the pictures. So he figured that can't be like the other icy objects that he's seeing. It has to be a planet. So he decided to call it Planet X because he wasn't sure, and then later on someone sent in a letter and they named it Pluto. Okay, so this is just to compare the sizes of all our planets of the solar system to Earth-like objects. So the sun is like an 8-foot balloon, Mercury is like a bead, Venus is like a rubber ball, Earth is a marble, Mars is a gumdrop, Jupiter is like a kickball, Saturn is like a bowling ball, Uranus is like a bocce ball, Neptune is a croquet ball, and Pluto is a ball bearing removed by a roller skate. So that is really small compared to all the other things. And some facts I have here are that Mercury is 2 times the diameter of Pluto, and Mercury is so small compared to all the other planets in our solar system. So the fact that it's 2 times the diameter of Pluto is insane. Now, Jupiter is 62 times as wide as Pluto, which is really big compared to Pluto. Okay, so the day in the life of Pluto is it's negative 300 degrees, so it's really cold. It's really far away from the sun. It's actually 4 billion miles away from the sun about. And it's frosty, it's like the Arctic, there's visible fog. Now this picture is not Pluto, this is actually Antarctica, but I just wanted to give you a picture because it probably has no water. We don't know for sure. We've actually never been on Pluto, and we don't know if it has mountain-like figures either. It could be very smooth. We don't know. Okay. So arguments for being a planet for Pluto is that it does orbit the sun. So it does orbit the sun like all the other planets. And it's round, it's not potato shaped like surrounding asteroids or surrounding comet like figures in the Kuiper Belt. So it's different. It has 5 moons, so it's not just like an asteroid that's flying randomly through space or a comet. It actually has 5 moons and has a smooth surface, and it does have some type of atmosphere. And it also isn't alone. Actually, they've discovered more massive objects like Pluto within the Kuiper Belt, and we'll talk about that a little later. So here are some arguments for Pluto not being a planet. It is a very small size. It's about 1,500 miles. If you think about that distance, it's like from Kansas to California. So it's actually not that big when you think about it. And its radius is about 1,187 kilometers. So it's pretty small, kind of like could be like an asteroid and a comet. That's what people think. Now, there's a highly elliptical orbit. Now, this is the problem here that people saw because it wasn't as circular as the other planets' orbits, and actually it was so elliptical that it actually crossed Neptune's orbit, which is a really big problem because all the other planets go smoothly around the sun and don't cross each other's orbits, and Pluto actually crosses Neptune's orbit. It's in the Kuiper belt, so it could just be another comet, and it's just differently shaped than the others, and just happened to look like maybe a planet. It could be just another icy object, like a comet or an asteroid. And it travels in a very crowded area. It travels within the Kuiper belt, so there is comets all around it, and there's icy objects all around it. It's not really by itself. And here's a picture of protests, because people were so mad when, later on we'll talk about it, how astronomers actually made it not a planet, when for 76 years they thought it was a planet, which is crazy. So now we're going to talk about what makes something a planet. So astronomers looking at Pluto had to figure, okay, well, really, what does make a planet? We don't have a perfect definition. Space isn't perfect. It's a complicated space. So how do we make a definition of it? So they got into this whole meeting and they voted on a definition. And this is what they came up with: that it has to be round, and it has to revolve around the sun in a circular order. So Pluto has those two things because it does revolve around the sun, even though it's very elliptical. But they added this: must clear the neighborhood around its orbit. So this makes Pluto not a planet because it's in the Kuiper belt. It revolves around a very crowded area. So they denoted Pluto from not being a planet, and everyone went crazy. Astronomers made petitions making Pluto a planet. Even some states made laws that Pluto was a planet within their borders. Like Illinois did it, which is crazy, and New Mexico. They made it a planet in their state and made it in their legislation. People were crazed over Pluto. They needed it to be a planet because all their life they thought it was. And for the Duchess of Clyde, who thought it was a planet, discovered it, it has to be. Why wouldn't it be if someone thought before? But after 76 years of Pluto being known as a planet, it was no longer considered one. And this caused outrages and protests, not from regular people, but also from astronomers. So, with new technology and advanced technology, we were able to actually find more of these planet-shaped objects farther away, farther than Neptune, near the Kuiper belt, like Sirius, Eris, Luna, like the pictured here, that were like Pluto, and actually bigger than Pluto, some of them. And astronomers realized it has to be something. So they figured it was a dwarf planet. Now, dwarf planets are rocky, they're tiny, many have atmospheres, they're miniature planets. They stopped in mid-stage of becoming a planet. So when the solar system was forming, just like all the other planets, they were forming, but then they stopped in mid-formation because there wasn't enough material around them for them to continue to form. Now, I don't know why there isn't enough material, but we have a theory of why they're all the way out of the sun, far away from the sun and out into space. We think that the gravity from Jupiter, the gas giants, flung them out into space. They were so tiny that they kind of just conflung, and Jupiter formed, and the gravity just flung them into space. But they stayed near the Kuiper belt. And as I said, Pluto is not the only one. That we found many others. And we hope to one day we can maybe even land on them, which we haven't yet. So now there's a new outlook of the solar system. We have the sun, we have the rocky planets, we have the gas giants, and now we have this new formation of the cohort of dwarf planets. And with technology always advancing, who knows what we will discover next? And I put a little alien. Who knows? With new technology, who knows what's out there? The solar system is a very broad place, and who knows how many galaxies are out there? Who knows what we will find next? Maybe we will find aliens in the future. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned a lot about Pluto from my PowerPoint. Thank you.